If you've got a Mk4 Golf or a Mk1 Audi TT or a Mk1 Leon or even a Mk1 Octavia, and you find that the handling of your car is not great, it seems very bouncy, the suspension, the handling balance doesn't seem great, it seems a bit unpredictable, you're getting varying forces through the steering wheel during cornering, the problem may not be the springs, it may not be the damper, it may not even be the chassis of the car. It may actually be something very simple. So this is a Mk1 Octavia, uses the same chassis as the Mk4 Golf, Mk1 Audi TT, Mk1 Seat Leon. And what we have, the fundamental flaw, in my opinion, with this car are the top mounts. So this is the top of the damper rod, and you've got a bush in here. The problem is, factory bushes and even the factory replacement bushes are soft, and they get softer over time, and you can tell when they're worn. You get a distance, a gap between this spring cap and the body of the car. Now if you go into some forums, there's no end of posts about people asking about this. Is it normal to have a gap between this cap and the chassis? And loads of people are saying, yeah, no problem, it's completely normal. I'm telling you, it ain't normal, it's bad, and it's massively affecting the performance, the road holding of your car. This spring cap needs to be tight to the chassis, because this is what is supporting the damper. If there's a gap here, when you go over a bump and then the suspension releases again, there's going to be like that distance where there's no rebound damping, there's no stopping of the spring from pushing the car back up until this hits the chassis again, and this gives you the springing motion, like the pogo motion when you go over bumps. Also, it can give, well, in my experience anyway, you get, even though you've got the steering wheel at a set angle, you're getting like various, the grip level is changing, and this is affecting the balance of the car. It was making the rear of the car feel a bit loose. So to fix this, you can get these AliExpress polyurethane rings that slot in there. I'm not going to go into them in this video, but I'll put a link in the video description where I did go in depth on those. So when I realized that this was a problem, the gap and basically the bush being soft, it was allowing not only up and down movement, but it was allowing the damper to move from side to side, and that was changing the geometry when it was under cornering force. So when I realized that was a problem, there was two options for me. Either got the polyurethane, so you like your Pro Flex, Super Flex, Power Flex bushes, the polyurethane bushes, direct replacement for the stock bushes, or there are camber adjustable top mounts, and they are like a solid piece of metal with a ball bearing in them, and that gives you camber or caster adjustment or caster adjustment depending on how you align it. So I didn't know what to do. I was oohing and ahhing between doing the polyurethane and the camber adjustment. The reason I didn't go for the polyurethane originally was because I didn't want to because they're like €100, to put them on the car, spend €100, and then realize that the tracking, that the alignment on the car was still not great, like there wasn't enough camber, like it was wearing the outside of the tires or something, and I didn't want to be in that situation. Anyway, long story short, I put the polyurethane on it for €100. I went with a company in Poland. I think they're called Strong Flex. No particular reason, they were just fast delivery. So I've put them on there, and after that I've got the tire temperature monitor, and I've looked at the surface temperature of the tires during hard driving to see if the outside of the tires are hotter or the inside of the tires are hotter, just to see where the alignment is. I mean, with the stock alignment like this, in the stock position, the dampers, is there too much camber or is there not enough camber? If you can keep the dampers exactly where they were in the factory spec, I think it's perfect. In hard cornering, you get the tires, the temperature across the tire is even, and if we just take a look at the tire here, we're getting even tire wear across the whole surface. If you're wondering if you need to put polyurethane bushes or if you need to put camber adjustable ones on, I would say don't worry. At least in my case, with the H&R springs, with New stock bushes throughout. It's been completely refreshed, the suspension. And obviously the 225 tyres, 18-inch, if that makes any difference to you. And with the polyurethane bushes, sax dampers, stock replacement dampers. In this setup, I don't see any reason to have camber adjustment. I don't see any reason to run more camber or caster. It feels great. There's plenty of grip at the front. I don't feel it understeering anymore, which is more than what I could say before when I had those stock bushes in them. Now, if you're saying, well, I'll just put stock bushes in them and I'll change them, I put Febby, Bilstein, top mounts in them, original replacement, completely refreshed this, new bearings, everything. I think the caps are original. And I would say within 8 months, I'm getting that gap again. So they don't last. And I think by the time they get to that point, those bushes are soft and the damper is moving around in here. And you could tell actually that they were moving because this cap was no longer centered on the car. It would be over here or over at the back slightly or whatever. It was different. It was moving. So I think this is probably, if you're serious about the performance in your Mark 4 platform, your Audi TT Mark 1, your Octavia Mark 1, is get some decent top mounts. I put the softest ones that Strongflex had, and I don't notice any difference in the noise, harshness, or vibrations from these. And I think if I was going to do it again, I would just plump for the harder ones, the hardest compound that they have, just to make that absolutely secure in the chassis. I don't see any downsides to it. The car is it's not transformed, but it's much better. It's fantastic now. Consistent grip from the front end, like I said, no understeer. The balance is consistent. You're not like managing understeer, oversteer, going through a corner. It's consistent. You can trust. I can trust the car now with these. I can really push into corners, and I know that I'm not going to get like weird handling characteristics of the grip changing as I'm going around the corner, and the steering feels consistent as well. Before, you could feel the steering wheel was just like an inconsistent feel when you turn in. All that is gone now with these. So that's a video, guys. I guess the two questions I was trying to answer, if you're in this position, is, well, I suppose one, if you've got dodgy handling on your Mark 4 and you're wondering what you can do to fix it, my first port of call, put some decent top mounts in them. And then second of all, what top mounts to get? Do you need camber adjustment or the polyurethane? Like I said, like in this spec of this car, I found stock location is fine. Any other things I would recommend with regards to suspension on the Mark 4? Definitely H&R springs. Transformed the car. They are quite low, as you can see, but they're absolutely zero rubbing, zero knocking, no freaking problems at all with the suspension, which is more than I can say for the springs that were on it when I first got the car. Maybe they were a little bit lower, maybe, but no end of knocking, rubbing, hitting drive shafts with the anti-roll bars. With the H&R, never, nothing, ever. With regards to dampers, I've put sax on this. I found at the rear they seem fine. At the front, personally, I'd say they're lacking in rebound damping, but the dampers that were on it before, which were like KYB, Kayaba Golds, I've also found that they had a lack of rebound damping. So far, I haven't found a solution for that. It's nothing like what it was with the top mounts, but it still comes up a bit more than I would like. I would like it to be a bit more tied down at the front. And I think a lot of people are saying Bilstein B8 specifically is the way to fix that. My issue with the Bilstein B8 is that they're €180 for the pair. No, for one. And I'm not 100% sure that they're going to fix the problem that I want to solve. So this is why I'm holding back on that. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with the suspension. But apart from that, Pilot Sport 5 is a very good tyre. But if you want to know more about the PS5s, I've done loads of videos on them. Again, there's a playlist at the end screen. I'll put a link in the video description to a playlist on PS5 if you're interested, and a link to a playlist on the project in general. I'm going well off piece now, guys, so I'm going to call it a day. That was the top mount situation on the Mark 4 Golf, in my opinion. If you found the video helpful, give it a like if you got time. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you again next time.